Good morning from the Arkansas Basin, round 2 at this hike. So today, going to be hiking in the Arkansas North Couloir of Arkansas Peak. For a full hike review of the North Couloir of Arkansas Peak, you can check the link below. I'll have more information about everything I talk about in the video today. We are in the upper basin up here. This right here is the Couloir, and beautiful clouds today, beautiful scenery. Up here is our second attempt at this, and this will be about a 5.5 mile hike. We're going to go up the Couloir and then back down the ridge, so this will be a full review of the whole route. Obviously, if you're not going up the Couloir, you can watch the second half of this video to see what you can expect on the ridge up there. This is about a 50-degree Couloir with sustained of like 35-ish. Best hit this anywhere between May and June. It does melt out pretty quickly up here because of all the large rocks. Mount Arkansas is a 13er. I don't know, I think it's like 13.6, something along those lines. So a pretty decent hike. And the Couloir climb is, I believe it's about 800 to 1,000 feet of climbing. It's gonna be a pretty fun day. The beginning was full of post-holing. So how we got here, you're gonna park down on Freemont Pass and then hike basically along the power lines. And then once you get to the edge of the trees, you're gonna take a right and go uphill. From there, it's gonna be a pretty steep hill to gain where we are in this basin here, but it'll be pretty straightforward from that point. There are a couple lakes up here, so be sure to make sure they're frozen over if you're going over them. This basin is just shy of 12,000 feet, so you have a bit of a climb to get to the base of the Couloir, and then obviously the Couloir itself. Man, those clouds are making this look very, very pretty. For your gear list for this hike, you're gonna probably want snowshoes, but you could get away with not packing them if you time it smart with the weather. You're definitely wanting a mountain axe, definitely want a boot that can take crampons, post-holing, so gaiters, and you're definitely gonna want crampons themselves. You don't need two tools or axes for this one. You can check out all the gear that I recommend using in the links below. You're definitely gonna want a helmet as well, just because you never know what's gonna come flying down a Couloir at you. So once you leave the lake, your elevation's gonna begin. It's gonna be pretty substantial. So just about 12.1 once you get past the lake, and you got about 1,500 feet to the top. So not all of that is in the Couloir, but your legs are gonna get a nice little workout. Things getting a bit steeper up here. Should have brought hiking poles. Add that to the list of gear you probably need. Let's pretend. Oh wow, it's so nice. All right, at the base of the Couloir now. Nick's already working his way up, and it's a straight shot up from here. Let's get after it. about a quarter of the way up this thing. Nick is just smoking me up, this puppy. I look down for perspective. The snow's noticeably pretty soft, so it's quite a pain in the ass. Even with a boot pack, I'm sinking in more than he is because I weigh more. So it's a slog. Just hoping once we get up a bit higher, the snow will crisp up and give our legs a break. About halfway up now. It's about 50 degrees, just measured it. Snow is firming up a bit, which is great. And yeah, just a look down. Looking up here, you can definitely see the whole way. So it's going to curve a bit to avoid the cornice and just keep on moving up North Couloir of Arkansas Peak. See the mine over there? You got Democrat, Bros, Buckskin. Sorry, I think that's Democrat. Cameron, Bros, Lincoln, whatever. The Calibron. Beautiful. Looking down, got a group of skiers down there and looking down the Couloir. Once again, Nick doing all the hard work. And I'm being a lazy bum, but it's pretty soft. Get an idea of what we're sinking into. He's being a soldier, freaking trail it for us. So it's pretty consistent grade. It does get steeper once you kind of get here, and then there's a big cornice at the top, which you can see as well. Oh, okay, final stretch, almost at the cornice, and then you're gonna take a left for an easy exit out of this thing. Fun line, pretty short, but nice views, pretty good snow, and making pretty good time. Here's the big cornice, closer look, and a final look at the line down and the beautiful basin up here. So if you're skiing or boarding down this is your line to enter, and it's usually pretty consistent, like drop in. So you have some rock here to worry about, as you can see, and then here too, but most years you don't have to deal with this cornice, which is great. Man, that last bit's a calf burner. Okay, topped out. Give you a brief look down before I go too close, but that's basically your whole line all around there, and awesome views up here as well. Whew, all right, summit of Mount Arkansas, 13.6 or something and change. I keep saying 6, hopefully that's right. But man, look at the views up here. Pretty stuff. Pretty windless today, which is great. Yeah, snow is firm. No complaint. To the summit, it was about 4 miles. Got about 3 miles down the ridge here. So we're gonna go this way and then head back to the car. I want to take you down to the car since you definitely don't want to go down the Couloir unless you have a snowboard or ski with you. It is a classic ski line, so it's about 45 to 50 degrees sustained, I would say. And entrance is a little tricky, but the cornice isn't bad like I showed you earlier. So if you want to go down that way, that's certainly an option. You will have quite a transition or skin out because it does get flat at the beginning. Quandary that way. You got the Calibron over here. You got buckskin right there. Looking down to the Collegiate Range. You got one poking out in the middle there. That's Elbert. Maroon Bell's Snowmass. And then over this way into the Gore Range. And of course, Holy Cross is the one pointing out there. Beautiful look down into Twin Lakes. Just windless on the summit. Yeah, just really happy to get redemption on this one, and can't wait to head down. You do not want to deal with these. These cornices are going to be a real problem going down, so try to stay on this dry ground. Taking the crampons off, because while they are great in the snow, they suck on rocks. And I have my loose pants on today, so making lots of new holes in them, which is fantastic. Descent here is a mix of class 2, high class 2, maybe a couple class 3 moves depending on your route, but should mostly be boulder hopping like you're seeing here. Look at how gnarly that thing looks. There's a big vulture on top of it right now too. Anyway, I'm pointing this out to you because this is something you don't have to climb. You can go around. You can go up if you want some class 3, 4 stuff just to, like, you know, get into it, but you can see that way right there is where you're gonna round this, so it's just unnecessary gain, but pretty awesome looking. Skinny mini. Jesus. This is much better. Basically down from the tough part of the ridge. Looking ahead here, you see what you got. Hopefully, once we get down to tree level, the snow will keep itself firm. Otherwise, it's gonna be a long way out. Down that way, our whole approach. So, came in around that corner. So we came down from here, and on the way down, you're gonna see this rib right here. You don't wanna take that. You wanna keep going and then come down this here. If you take that, it's not gonna be fun. Right before you reach this nub on the descent that's looking back up, you're gonna want to head down these slopes and go into the woods that way. Here you have a nice opportunity for pretty good glissade. You can see the road. I mean, it's so close, but this is the post hole territory. So my advice would be just pick a path that looks packed in and that will give you the least amount of resistance getting out of here. So in the summer months, it might be way more straightforward, but if there's snow remaining, I mean, make things easier on yourself. From that last shot, we ended up going left because there was a boot pack through it. So far, it's been minimal post holing, but the lower we get and the more into trees we get, the higher chances that's going to be. Just the nature of this time of year. Here's a couple of tips for post holing. So when you get near any kind of vegetation, a tree, bush, whatever, most likely it's going to be creating its own warm energy, and it's going to be very soft near those. So try to avoid them if possible. Willows, oh buddy, willows are not your friend. Number two, usually you can tell when the snow is getting, snowpack is getting shallower because you'll start sinking more often and you'll be able to feel the ground right underneath you. So there's not really any way to look out for that, but just be cognizant of it because that's when you're going to sink. You don't want to get caught off guard. And number three, you just got to embrace the suck. No one likes it. Even with snowshoes, you're going to post hole sometimes. Back at the trailhead now. Man, that last half mile was brutal. We just post holed every 2 seconds. So be sure just to get here early and prepare for that. Have GPS would definitely be helpful because we were just following someone else's tracks luckily, but you know, if those weren't there, you could be adding a lot of really type 3 fun for yourself. Mount Arkansas via the North Couloir and descending via the East Ridge is about 7 miles and just about 2,800 to 2,900 feet of elevation. So not a terrible day, all things considered. If you are planning on hiking this, give yourself a good, I don't know, 6 to 8 hours and get here pretty early. But a fun couloir. It wasn't super steep, around 50 degrees. The top part was by far the most sketchy, if you want to use that word. But it was still, you know, good snow conditions and all that. Dogs on this, if you want to hike Mount Arkansas via the standard route, you could definitely bring a dog if they're somewhat comfortable with like loose rock and stuff like that. Like a lot of 13ers, there's not going to be a super defined trail here, so a lot of bushwhacking and having a GPS or just knowing where to go on a map is helpful. You can check out my GPX track on the link below. It'll be part of the full hike description. Yeah, overall a really fun day except for the last half mile, so definitely recommend this one. Super accessible right off Freemont Pass, which is a huge plus as well. So for a full hike review and more information about the North Couloir of Mount Arkansas, you can check the link below. Please subscribe not to miss any future hiking related content, and as always, see you on the next adventure.